That catbrier weaves together the branches. So when a hurricane force wind comes by that forest, the canopy acts as a unit and it can shear off hurricane force winds.
And we try to impact areas that are going to change family and individuals' conditions. That's first and foremost for us to invest in a program. There will always be needs. While the economy has improved, it really has not impacted many families. In this community, we still rely on a service industry primarily. We're fortunate to have a few new industries move into town that we see doing some hiring, but there's still a lot of families and needs, and it may not be economic related. It might be counseling related. It might be school performance related. So those are all needs that will continue to exist. And we try to impact areas that are going to change family and individuals' conditions. That's first and foremost for us to invest in a direct service program that we want to see lives changed so that they won't rely on those services in the future. Over the year, the agencies, those programs have to prove to us that they're having success. So we see outcomes on a quarterly, annual basis to show that they're accomplishing what they said they were going to do. The lack of sufficient resources in the community, both for United Way as an investor as well as the agencies that are providing their direct services, we have found that when you can leverage those limited resources, then you can multiply it 3, 4, sometimes 10 times. So for every dollar that is invested in some of these programs, you're getting a $10 return. And we have found that more and more of these direct service agencies really did not know what some of the other direct service agencies were doing in the community, and they discovered that they're working many times with the same clients, the same families, the same specific geographical areas in the community. And they came to realize that if they share their resources to address the needs in that particular area, it's like a puzzle. You put all the pieces of the puzzle together, you have a whole picture. And it really is kind of a holistic approach. So we've been extremely successful in this community brokering those relationships, and we have seen some phenomenal results. I think the summer program at the Blue Ribbon Commission to Prevent Youth Violence, and the Bell program, was a great example of the collaboration you see among agencies. Now this collaboration, it was both a private and public partnership because DC Virgo Academy was used as the campus. So those are public funds, that's a public entity. But Blue Ribbon Commission helped bring in a resource from the Charlotte area, again called the Bell program. And that initiative worked with some at-risk students and provided a 6-week program that helped enrich their education over the period of the summer, as well as provided them some growth opportunities in the arts, again, entrepreneur skills, took them on tours of places a lot of these kids had never been before. So it was a very, the enrichment aspect of it was just as important as the academic piece of the puzzle. Chronic homelessness has always been an issue here because of our geography and because of our climate. And we've seen through a number of collaboratives in this community, and is partly driven by the 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness, based at United Way, we've seen a 70% reduction in chronic homelessness in this community in the last 5 years. And again, it's because every agency that deals with homelessness as an issue is bringing a resource to the table to help a homeless individual. So we have programs that are helping individuals apply for disability. We have organizations that are providing food and shelter to these individuals in the interim. We have supportive housing organizations in town. So you put all those resources together and you can deal with a critical issue like chronic homelessness.
Our museum school began about a year ago, and it is in the former gift shop area, and there are constant classes going on for adults and for children. But every day of the week we have art history lectures, painting, watercolors, drawing. silk screening, you name it, we offer it at some point, and all that information is available online. The class schedules, how to register, class descriptions, and about every 6 to 8 weeks or so, there's a brand new crop of classes that are being offered. We'll have special classes for oil painting, others for watercolors, others that are just going to focus on drawing. We also offer weekend workshops, so it'll just be several hours for one particular day. So there's a wide variety, so regardless of your schedule, there's always something that you could fit into your schedule if you're interested in pursuing classes here. We also have non-instructed drawing classes, so you just come in, we provide the model, and people can draw at their own pace. We also have the clay studio with our master artist in residence, Hiroshi Suiyoshi, and he is always offering adult classes, and there's plenty of opportunities for children to visit the clay studio as well. He has morning classes for adults as well as evening classes, so depending on what your schedule is, you can find time to take one of his classes. And then for students, during our after-school art classes and as well as our summer camps, we always spend at least one day with Hiroshi in the clay studio, and it is always the most popular day. Our longest established kids program is known as Kids at Camp, and it's been going on since 2005. And that's every month. And every single month we offer a new range of projects, different guest artists, musicians, dancers. We offer summer camps in July and in August, week-long, half-day summer camps. I teach the bulk of the children's programming, and then I also always look to recruit local artists, or if we have a really inspirational artist passing through the area, I'll see if I can get them to come and do a program with the children. We also do outreach into the community, so we will partner up with schools and we'll bring programs into the school or host special events for them here in the museum, and we're really working hard to expand that as far as we can into other counties. We're always looking to reach as many children as possible.
She was once considered the world's greatest sea weapon, and went on to become one of the most highly decorated American battleships of World War II. Now moored in downtown Wilmington, she's one of the most highly decorated family attractions in North Carolina, serving a new generation as an exciting, hands-on historical adventure. Have a blast exploring the past aboard the Battleship North Carolina. Adventure calls.
The most talked about travel experience is a river cruise. We work with top name operators. There is no better way to see the world than on a river cruise from Four Seasons Travel and spend less time getting there and more time being there.
Bring your home movies into Carolina Video Edit Centers for professional high-quality transfer. From old school VHS to the latest digital cameras, we can transfer to disk, hard drive, or upload directly. Whether it's digital archiving or social media sharing, we can do it at Carolina Video Edit Centers.
It's a little taste of Mexico right here in Wilmington. La Costa Mexican Restaurant. Start off the night with La Casa Rita or one of their delicious icy cold drinks. Then dig in for delicious La Costa specialties like arroz con pollo, carne asada, seafood molcajete, and fajitas. La Costa Mexican Restaurant with 3 locations in Porter's Neck, Market Street, and Oleander.
I'm at Stanley Reeder City Garden in Wilmington, North Carolina, and around me are some of the most unique plants in the entire world. I'm talking about Venus flytraps, and here are some of the blossoms. These white blossoms all around here, these are Venus flytraps in full bloom. Now, the first question is, why don't Venus flytraps live in other parts of the world? Because they don't. They only live in a very narrow strip of land within 25 to 50 miles of Wilmington, right along the coast. So what makes the environment unique that they only exist around Wilmington? And part of the answer is found in the soil here. The soil, as any gardener will tell you, in this area is very sandy. If you were to send this soil off for a soil test, you'd find that it has almost no phosphorus in it and almost no nitrogen. So there's not many plants that can live in this kind of condition. Super acid soil, and I'm talking about a pH 4 to 4.5. That's about the same acidity as canned tomatoes. And the way they get their nitrogen and phosphorus is by trapping insects. And they have a special mechanism, a couple little hairs When an insect hits those hairs, you've all seen the picture of the Venus flytrap closing around that insect. But we also have a lot of other insectivorous plants around here that a lot of people don't expect to see, that are a lot more common and you see in all parts of the world. Plants like the sundew. The beautiful little sundew is not much bigger than a 25-cent piece, and it's growing all through here, and it traps little gnats and flies. It's also an insectivorous plant. The bigger plants you see all around, all through here, these pitcher plants, some of these are actually species from South Georgia, South Alabama, and northern Florida, are not native to this area. They've been introduced. But some are, like this yellow pitcher plant right here. This is a native pitcher plant. This is the fruit and flower of the pitcher plant. And of course, this is the pitcher. And as you may know, insects fall down in here. The hairs all point down into the tube, so when the insect tries to get back out, it cannot get back out. And the pitcher plant traps insects and digests them for the nitrogen and phosphorus nutrients in the insect. The same reason the Venus flytrap does it. So we've got gorgeous pitcher plants here. We've got the flower and fruit. This is actually a fruit of the pitcher plant. As you can see right here, it'll have seeds in it. We also have the purple. We also have a dwarf variety of pitcher plant that's native, and several other species that are hybrid. One of them named for Mr. Reeder. And that is why this area is so unique. We have plants that nobody else in the world has. They are insectivorous, and in order to maintain these plants, it takes a great deal of care. So come on down to Stanley Reeder City Park here in Wilmington, right behind Alderman School, and you can see these plants without having to walk through the green swamp and disturb a lot of habitat.
I want to welcome you to historic Thalian Hall. It's 155 years old. It's one of the most beautiful historic theaters in the United States. Has been almost in continuous use since it opened October 12, 1858. And some of the great stars of the 19th and early 20th century played here, like Lillian Russell, Maude Adams, Joseph Jefferson, James O'Neill, Maurice Barrymore, Buffalo Bill Cody, and so on and so forth. And we're still continuing to bring great artists here in this theater. It's been renovated many times, restored most recently in 2010. All new theater seats, completely repainted and refurbished with all new lighting and sound equipment. Around the turn of the century, there was a major renovation, and a magnificent proscenium arch was installed, which is a delight to audiences for over 100 years. The building was originally built as a combination city hall and theater, and the front part of the building still serves as Wilmington City Hall. But the east wing, forming Thalian Hall, was designed by John Montague Trimble, who was a noted New York theater architect. He designed some 40 theaters and concert halls in his lifetime, but this is the only one of his theaters still standing. Recently, we've added quite a few things. One is we have put in all new digital film equipment, so our film projection here is second to none in the community. And also we have added an exterior lighting system, LED lighting system, so the whole building is quite beautiful at night. This facility hosts many, many local companies as well as national touring artists. And we're so delighted to have people experience this theater because it is special. So attending something, a performance at Thalian Hall, is not like any other because of the magnificence of this theater.
Alpha Mortgage. We're the only full-service mortgage banking firm in southeastern North Carolina. From origination through processing, underwriting, funding, closing, we do it all locally. More than 90 professional staff right here in Wilmington. Alpha Mortgage is the leading mortgage lender in southeastern North Carolina. Alpha Mortgage is the lender more real estate agents and builders rely on. We work with your realtor and your builder every step of the way from application to closing. We have the best rates, best service, because we are Alpha. Alpha Mortgage.
Hieronymus Seafood and Oyster Bar, voted best seafood restaurant in Wilmington by Encore magazine readers. Here is where you can count on the freshest local seafood daily, served with fresh herbs selected from their own garden. Enjoy daily chalkboard drink specials in the cocktail lounge. Choose to eat in the Oyster Bar for freshly steamed oysters or crab legs. Or you can dine family style in the comfortable and spacious dining room. Seasonal catch from local waters is always on the menu at Hieronymus Seafood, where fresh is best.
Your passport awaits to 3 of Wilmington's most historic homes. Now, for one low admission price, you can visit historic Bellamy Mansion, the city's grandest antebellum home, the Burgwin-Wright House Museum and Gardens, beautifully restored for a step back in history, and Latimer House, representing opulent life in Wilmington before the Civil War. Purchase your passports at any one of the historic home locations and discover 3 great reasons to visit Wilmington's past. Tickets are good for 1 week from the date of purchase.
In this upcoming year, visitors will have the opportunity to see preservation at work. We will not be closing the house during this event because we take this opportunity to educate the public about the extensive work taking care of a historic house that's 240 years old. The front columns and porch rebuilt, the house completely painted, and an outdoor structure rehabilitated to suit modern needs. There is a yearly exhibit planned for Preservation Month. The upcoming exhibit will be about the National Society of Colonial Dames of America, who own and operate the Burgwin-Wright House Museum and Gardens, as well as 3 other structures in North Carolina, the Joel Lane House in Raleigh, Hayward Hall in Raleigh, and the 4th House in Winston-Salem in the Old Salem Village. So we'll discuss some of these structures that they've preserved to educate them about North Carolina colonial history. We have monthly evening tours at the first Friday of every month at 9 p.m. where we discuss life at night by candlelight. It's a different interpretation than during the day. It gives the visitors an opportunity to see the house devoid of electricity and modern conveniences and what life would have been like with only candlelight, what was possible in the evening that might not have been possible during the day, and vice versa. And we discuss a lot of the myth and lore that stem from that era. We have an annual Christmas event that's a collaboration with the Bellamy Mansion and St. James called the Christmas Stroll Through the Past. Luminaries are set out on Market Street between all the structures, and visitors get to enjoy colonial and antebellum Christmas music, decorations, an interpretation of the house, and refreshments.
We are an environmental nonprofit located on Bald Head Island, which is about 35 miles south of Wilmington, North Carolina. It's a wonderful Cape Island, which is related to Barrier Islands, and it is just at the convergence of the Cape Fear River and the Atlantic Ocean. It is the location of the Cape Fear. On Bald Head, the mission of the Bald Head Island Conservancy is to foster community-based Barrier Island conservation, education, and preservation. And we do this to fulfill the vision of our community. Our community wishes to live in harmony with nature. So that's our vision for the future, living in harmony with nature on the coastline. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing that you do is you protect nature, because nature has a special way of paying you back. And it pays you back by protecting you against storms. If our barriers are protected against storms, our mainland will be protected against storms, and our economies and infrastructure will also be protected. So on Bald Head, the Conservancy is a tool that the community uses to make sure that nature is intact and resilient against storms. And you've never seen a dune like a Bald Head dune. We actually call our dunes savannas because there's a lot of them and they're in their natural state. So our dunes protect us against storm waves, but they also serve as important habitat for a lot of animals and plants. The most important environment on our island is our climax community, our maritime forest. Our maritime forest is an old-growth maritime forest. It's protected both in the residential area, but also in our 200-acre maritime forest preserve. There are ancient live oak trees in there The forest actually is an amazing symbol for the spirit of community that you see in the human population on Bald Head. The live oak trees actually join their branches with the trees adjacent to them. And that catbrier that you fight so hard to get rid of in your yard, that catbrier weaves together the branches. So when a hurricane force wind comes by that forest, the canopy acts as a unit and it can shear off hurricane force winds. Now on the other side of our maritime forest is 10,000 acres of salt marsh. And this is an important stopover for a lot of migrating birds. It's an amazing habitat for all kinds of animals and birds, raccoons, deer. You'll even see bottlenose dolphins swimming in that marsh and schooling fish against the mudbanks. Oysters are wonderful in this habitat, and recently we've even seen river otters frolicking in our creeks. We try to work the same way that our forest does. We try to work with our neighbors to help make sure that everybody's vision of living in harmony with nature comes to fruition. So that means working with island businesses, with island residents, and certainly our visitors to make sure first they understand the complex dynamics in nature, but secondly that when they do build and when they do interact with nature, that they do so in an effective and safe way. We think that Bald Head is the gem of North Carolina. We think there's no place else like it, and we think the more people that can see it and appreciate it, the more we can help protect it. Go on our island nature tour, and that will get you ferry tickets and a tour throughout the island. You might see a bald eagle on the nest. You might see an alligator in a pond. Each time of year, every month, brings something different, from the glorious painted buntings all the way to our gannets in the winter, who come near shore when it gets too cold and too rough offshore.
Discover more to do and see in Wilmington. See the attractions, events, businesses, and people that make this a great place to live. Keep your eyes on us as we keep our eye on Wilmington. On CBS 10 WILM.
Hi, I'm Dave Baker. I'm the Wrightsville Beach Ocean Rescue Director, and I'd like to tell you a few things on how you can have an enjoyable and safe time when you come here to Wrightsville while you're at the beach. We'd like you to swim in front of a lifeguard stand. We have 13 lifeguard stands plus 3 ATVs roving up and down the beach along with 2 trucks. Talk to the lifeguard should you have any concerns or need additional information on what the conditions are for today. You can also look at the lifeguard stand and see the flags. We have green, yellow, and red. Green saying that it's safe. However, we could have some conditions that could pop up, so we want you to be safe and stay within your limitations should you go in the water. We have yellow. That means caution. We would advise you not to go in the water unless you're a strong swimmer and have extensive water knowledge. We also have red flags. We'd like you to stay out of the water. These are dangerous surf conditions. We ask that you stay out not only for your safety, but for the safety of others. You may have the ability to be out there, but just think, you could be a lure for someone who does not, because you're making it look easy. So please, all individuals, unless you're a competent surfer, please stay out of the water on red flag days. Here at Wrightsville Beach, during the hours that the lifeguards in the stands, between Memorial Day to Labor Day, we have designated surfing areas. What we'd like you to do is, should you not be familiar where these are, talk to the lifeguards, find out where they are. If you hear a lifeguard whistle, please stop what you're doing and look back at the lifeguard. It may be for your safety and or to give you some information that there's an emergency vehicle getting ready to go down the beach. So if you hear a whistle blast, please stop, look around, see if it involves you. If not, please continue to have an enjoyable and safe day.